Okay, the recording's on. So now I want to ask some questions. So far we went through the book. Do you have any comments, any, I mean, reflections, or whatever? So this is the book is not the Bible, so you feel free to criticize it as well. So there's also a lot of wisdom, a lot of good things, am I right? So yeah, let's not idolize it at the same time. Don't dismiss its benefit for us, am I right? So yeah, so rather than start with Noah, I know he has a lot to share. I want to hear Elijah. So
Um, so we're talking about the Confucius writings.
yeah, the book, the discussion we have, Moses' book, with in general experience, our time spent time, within this book, stuff like that. So whatever, keep on your mind. So yeah.
Well, I feel like through the Confucius teachings and all these teachings, there's been a lot of, especially learning about how to learn and how to be a student. That's probably definitely most what I've learned about, and especially that essay I wrote actually very improved my understanding on that with
Yeah.
the when I wrote it.
Yeah. Now, recover the essay. I remember there's three things expounding the essay, right? Can you give me the bullet points for that?
There was, out of three people, you can learn from at least two of them, or one of them. Second one was, when you're learning, it's better to learn from more than one thing at a time. And then the last one was, if you're going to learn from the best.
Hey, there you go. Word success. I like it. So, yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's wonderful. Yeah, that's the three. Yeah, that's it. I think that's the right.
That's right. Yeah.
Bullet points. Yeah. So anyway, sorry to interrupt your conversation. I just wanted to add more content.
Oh yeah, but yeah, and then there's some things obviously that I do have trouble picking up on, kind of some understanding on his writings, because it can be a little confusing. But,
Sure.
But just like even not being.
I don't think I did a good job to add a lot of context to things. Sometimes I may drift away with the topic. So in the passionate moment.
Well, I think it's good. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. But I did notice more than just being a good student. It kind of teaches how to be like it talked about rulers too, and like being a good son as well.
Yeah.
Just some different things like that. And that's kind of the good principles I've taken away from his writings in general.
That's wonderful. Yeah, be a good son, be a good teacher even, So be a good brother. Yeah, be a good young ruler or prince of that, able ruler. So that's good. I like what you shared. So yeah, succinct but get to the point. So Noah, take your time as well. So we're not pressed with time. So.
Oh, I mean, I don't have too much particularly. One thing from my own personal take or approach to these writings is I really appreciate the way that Confucius presents these things, as was discussed by you in the very beginning of these meetings, in a sense that he's teaching them to young rulers or to princes, people that are destined to one day rule. And so as that has, I think, a very...
We do clarify that rule is not to be oppressive.
Yeah, exactly.
Ruler, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think that's actually something that many people have misinterpreted Confucius writings about.
That's everywhere,
as an
across human history. Yeah, go ahead.
Writing. But I think that Confucius not only communicates how or the examples or character of a righteous ruler, but of course how that character is attainable for almost all individuals, in a sense that perspective of life builds your character upon a certain foundation that enables you to form a completely new mindset about not only your life but your relationships as well, and how you see beyond your life, which is, I think, a really
relational dynamic.
Yeah,
I guess.
very like a key aspect of his writings. And in a way, as we've seen, that all begins with learning how to be a good student. And how to not only respect your teacher, but even how to glean from him, and how that teacher is, he even gives not guidelines particularly, but he even makes points about the perspective a teacher should have himself. So, of course, we haven't gotten very far into the writings either, so but we have expounded on a lot of...
But there's some good things, right? Really solid things.
I agree.
For young, for everybody, really for everybody. But for young ones especially, we're steep entangled with Western individualism, those kind of mindsets, so it's good to get out there on the false sense of independence or equality, right? So I don't want to be a critic, try to do, but unless you get contrast, really do things, not necessarily fully appreciate it, making sense. So Now I think we finished 223 last time, am I, on this Analects Confucius. So we're going to go with 224 today. Again, the procedure will be me reading the original text, Noah reading his translation, then I might expound a little bit, understanding, then hear you guys comment, have a discussion about it. Is that okay? Yeah, okay. 224, 子曰：非其鬼而祭之，贤也。见义不为，无勇。Yeah. Go ahead, Noah.
224 says, the master said, for a man to sacrifice to a spirit which does not belong to him is flattery. To see what is right and not to do it is want of courage.
Well, what the first one again? Is a flattery was what? How do you translate that? What did you?
He said, for a man to sacrifice to a spirit which does not belong to him is flattery.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that spirit is a word. Like any word, even in any culture, they have different meaning in different times, right? Yeah. So, this spirit is basically almost like a I don't know. They actually talking about in this context. The understanding here said it's ancestors. Chinese do have a tradition to. I don't think it's a religion. We do respect our former generations. So, but we Western culture at a certain people has degraded it into worship of all people. You understand? That's my point. So. That's bad, so but this one I think it's more about the social conduct, in those days. If just think about, they all actually build a little bit temple, right? They have altars, they have the sacrifice, do things, so they made it very, very official. I want to give you more context what Confucius said. It's not bad or good, it's just historical facts, historical context there. In those times, like a big family, what have you, they're going to have a very solid place to set aside to honor their ancestors, even honor certain god they worship, am I, in a sense. So then they made a big tradition, just like we celebrate Passover, Pentecost, or Tabernacle as God's people in the old time, right? They made a big event of it to celebrate certain occasion, to offer sacrifice, to do even worship, so music, everything. So it's very, very just very involving, especially you in this class, so that's what you do. Now, what I have is when noble, he has is a kind of great esteem. He has a great social positions, influences. Well, there will be different subjects. There will be different relationship. People, in order to, that's why he said what? Philanthropy, right? So people, in order to please this head of the family or certain things, they want to get involved, to be benefited, like, so with corrupting intent, obviously, they will try to be part of that ceremony, so to pay, it's not their, have nothing to do with their own said this is supposed to worship their own thing, doing own thing. It's a social culture thing, okay? So bad, for sure bad, so that's the culture they carried. Making sense to you? So now then this one going to be unbecoming, to be part of someone else's process. What do you think? Do he have a good motive? Obviously he don't have good standard, and right, so he's just very flimsy. He is just self-seeking, right? So anyway, so there are certain boundaries don't to in those things that were serious, the were orderly, so it's like tell your father, someone else is your neighbor. You said because the neighbor is rich or powerful, you said, hey, can you be my father? So you and your father poor may be weak, so but you don't just do that, right? Making sense here? So that's what it is amount to in Confucius society. Somebody do that, he has no standard in life, he has no standing in life. Making sense here? So the second one, so that's what it is there is actually is interest. Something can give you interest, right? So can benefit you. So that's why I paired with the second sentence. Said 见义而不为. What is the translation about?
It says to see what is right and to not do it is want of
do it.
courage.
Yes, exactly. So the what is right here is more than just right. It's justice. Sometimes in China or in any society, maybe there's a lot of social injustice or legal injustice, whatever. Just unjust things happen, right? People being treated unfairly, and if you then you don't make a stand for them, you don't fight for them, you don't don't just it's gonna harm me, going to cause me trouble, run off from it, right? Rather take a fight, fight for what is good, what is right, what's just. And so that's had to do with courage thing, right? Or cowardice, so that's also to do with what is really interest to you, so making sense to you. So so that's just basically Confucius say, hey, you're supposed to be a man of a character, and you can't just always decide your involvement in life based on self-gain. James talking about actually that, right? You don't just serve the Lord or serve others for self-gain, right? So that goes deeper. Is more than monetary or positional influences. That can be reputation, to garner honor, garner praise, So making sense here. So unfortunately, sometimes people do that. It's politicians do that, So. And with nobody thinking that's wrong. So now with that, we actually ended up the whole session 2. Okay, so then we started with the next section, the section 3, called the Basho. I don't know you have the translation for that. Again, the 26 conversations. The main theme of this one is actually a propriety. You can use the word propriety or propriety. If actually the word is what it means to be honorable, to honor things. So that's the root of it. So because you honor things, you want to do things properly, right? So and so it's more than this. That standard is not up to you. It's a social standard. It's community standard. Making sense, the cultural standard. So the second one is actually music. Now, it's more than just music for entertainment. This music has everything to do with occasions set up. Like you go to God's temple to worship, that's the best allusion I can give to you as a contrast. So, as example, sorry, so you in every occasion, like doing ceremonies, music is seldom. You gotta think about the poor people don't have any chance to be educated. Don't never heard the instrument. I grew up like that, so even more than that. So how about the Asian time? So music and those kind of compositions and performances, it's a circle around of word-centered culture, and right highlight of culture and national life or tribal life or community life. Making sense to you? So they paid a lot of attention to it, so how to perform these things. And so the two, one, the propriety is also actually centered around is a modeled rather in those ceremonies, in those ways as well. So these ways are passed on as a system of governance, almost a system of gathering. So there is for sure hierarchy, sense of order, but the more so people learn to behave in a proper way. Making sense here? It's not lawless people anymore. There's no honor, no restraint, no regard for anything. Making sense to you? Again, last time we mentioned the contrast of Li and Fa. Li is this honorable propriety of social behaviors, so sometimes translate into certain stipulation or rules, but not always so, am I right? So then the other one is purely law, legitimate, am I right? Making law, you do this wrong, then I'm gonna punish you through in jail, making sense to you? Send the police power or whatever powers the government uses to punish those disobey the rules, am I right? So it's two ways of governing things. Making sense? To appropriate social morality and good behavior, So this is thinking about one instance. Give me some comment. What is right or wrong? What the difference? How do they judge that in the two settings? In Li means an honorable way, am I doing things? Whether right or wrong, how they be judged? Thinking about it.
I guess when you say right and wrong, it depends on the situation. Like if it's involving, if it's like a moral right and wrong.
Yeah, moral standard, am I?
Yeah.
So then consciousness of consensus of the society, am I? Consensus of the community, am I? So they narrow down to person is personal conscience. Have a clean conscience, am I? Are you doing wrong? You see my point? A conscience. Now, therefore, it's like the Bible, am I right? So you keep personally, if you're ignorant, you don't know better. That's one thing, am I right? So making sense, the society will say, oh, that young man don't know better, So, you see my point, So, and then, with it, maybe other measures, says my evil government, but it's still the judgment is more a moral delineation of justice, am I right? So making sense to you? Everybody is a moral agent, whether being a person, being a community. You see my point? Then you understand my point, So then on the opposite side, what about the legalistic way or legal way? So,
That'll be judged according to what's written in the law, I suppose.
yeah, it's a letter of the law, am I right? So making sense here. So the who get involved with that judgment are going to be what? This is the instrument of the law, am I right? So they don't have moral standards. They don't have. Says my point. So that can be good if they really. Can anybody do or carry out the law without a moral judgment, without any bias or any good standing? But we think that would be, am I right? Ideally, that can be. So let's see. These two ways of governing. Okay? Render judgment. With the punishment and the benefit. Am I? Praise, honor, give. That's my point. So, what about the modern American? What kind of thing taking over? That's asking, am I?
So, like in what we've looked over with this contrast between propriety and legality perspective, you're asking what?
Yes.
About Americans?
Yeah. What undergirding a philosophy or idea how to interpret what is right or wrong? Is it legalistic or moral culture input?
I think when you look down to the choices made by the individual American, it tends to be more of a moral approach to things.
No, it's very legalistic. It's actually to the bone. It's legalistic. And the result is the lawyers become what? Become rulers. Okay? So, making sense to you? So, now, if the other side, which is God's culture model, is a moral agent, it's people of character, have the trust community, am I right? So, have godly wisdom, godly understanding things. They are the ruler, like a priest, am I? Like an elder in the community. Making sense to you? So, for example, do you get involved some argument? Do you go to the elder first in this society, or you go to where? Go to where? Go to the court, am I? Even father, son, what they do? Do they turn the aunt or uncle or grandpa the judge a matter, or they go to where? Go to court. That's talking about the total breaking down of appropriating relationships. So making sense to you? So, and because the law tell you what is right or wrong, if you just do the things the law, do you have to modify your personal behaviors in the end of the day? You can be the worst person in the world, but you're a law-abiding citizen, right? You did a lot of good things, but nobody tell you you're a bad citizen, bad American. Making sense here? So, but if a culture is not founded on this, let's think about otherwise, as Israelites under Moses' law, amen, hallelujah. What is the number one thing he need to do? He did everything about Moses' law tell him to do. He never break the law, as Paul was. So, all he needed to have a heart, understand the spirit of the law, the heart of the law. Making sense to you? This may be an overfetching, overfetching topic, but I want you to understand what the Confucius does. The teaching the Bible does is try to impart a culture. It's more than moral constraint or education. It's a culture, through agent of good teachers, my good community leaders, the society, those who are responsible. In our case, maybe a ruler, am I right? So a governor, whatever. Making sense to you? Elijah, am I making sense? These two contrasts? Yeah.
I think it's funny,
Go ahead.
too. I think one of the reasons I may have first mentioned the heart of the American, or basically the mental construct of a American being more based towards moral, because if you think back to the incentives that were behind the very founding of the Constitution, was upon the inherent freedom that comes with the individual. And so when you think that's basically a moral mindset that brought about, or that was basically propagated a set of individuals that brought them to this place to have a land of like a free land, because they believed, in contrast to other societies which had a moral standard of there being ranks and classes of people, where not everyone was free.
Absolutely.
But it's interesting because that was what was originally a movement of morality became a lawful and constitutional system.
Yes.
That was meant to maintain and preserve that morality.
Yes.
But like you said, it's kind of been
changed.
degraded into-
Yes, yes. Is that amazing?
Yeah.
The same transformation with when God gave Moses' law
exactly with
to the people, then later on
yeah.
to the Pharisees. They what happened?
Yep. Same
Become
thing.
lawyers and stuff,
Yeah.
right? So
process.
they lost the heart of the law, So there you go. Good observation. You are so dead on the money with that. So, but in the sense, what I'm saying is more about the judge what is right or wrong.
Right.
So we have to understand the legal structure of American founding is actually already have immoral or ways that advanced in civilization, human civilization, and right try to correct and to safeguard from many wrongs from medieval age. So you're absolutely right. My point is more about the judgment of a certain way,
yeah,
So today is just like so legalistic. We don't even recognize it, right? So
it's getting even worse, basically.
Yeah, it's like Jesus' day. Suddenly, a moral teacher, a spiritual teacher, come aboard. They don't have a heart for it, They have these links, So you can't do society without this stuff. Yeah, really. You have to society without this stuff. This stuff just on the tail of trying to accomplish something, right? It's not me backbone. It's not the vision of your life. You should not judge everything based on that, So anyway, over top Elijah maybe a little bit, but Elijah enjoyed the conversation so far.
Yeah. I trying to tell you.
Yeah, no. So yeah, we a little bit off. So, but it's a good topic to talk. I want you to study. Okay, study on the. You're right. Study on the founding, especially the founding generations, through the Enlightenment movement and with the founding of a new nation. What they tried to really correct, from the old society, European culture, right? So
it'll be interesting because that's very likely something I'll be doing next week as a part of my American government class.
Oh, there you go. There you go. Yeah.
I'm going to be interested.
Protect the human rights. Yeah, protect human freedom. Those are wonderful things. Very inspirational. That's the thing draw me here. So. Anyway, so 3-1. Let's move on a little bit. Well, I inspire some discussions. Sometimes I may have a conclusive thing to say, sometimes not. Am I right? Just start a topic, have a discussion, So we hope we don't scatter everywhere, but we have some good point to glean. So. 3.1 said, 孔子为季氏，八小五于庭，是可忍，孰不可忍呀？ Go ahead.
Confucius said to the head of the Shi family, who had 8 rows of pantomimes in his area, if he can bear to do this, what may he not bear to do?
Okay. In the past, certain performances, dancing with music, is a ceremony that is appropriated only for kings, okay, for higher kings. It's not supposed to be done by a subject, even by noble, am I right? There are certain performances you can do, like not everybody can wear a crown, am I right? So not everybody can carry a chariot with 8 set of horses, am I right? 8 horses, something like that, am I right? Or 6 horses, whatever. There are some standards that is stipulated in Asian culture in different settings. Here in China, it's only used properly for the king to use, amen. And then others gonna have to downgrade it to a lesser scale or lesser perfection. Making sense to you? So, and there, a certain ceremonial dancing was just performing any word common subject of a king. So what's wrong with that picture? So Confucius says, I can't tolerate that. That's wrong. He's upset with it. We're upset with it. So give me if you can, Noah especially, give me a picture of in the Bible how God sees the thing improper as well and render some dramatic judgment on the things.
Well, even just a recent example of watching that movie of Moses where they brought forth the golden calf and then celebrated it.
Oh, that's more extreme example.
Yeah,
So
and
yeah.
revelry, and Moses came down, and there's pretty severe judgment there.
Yeah.
He broke the 10 Commandments before them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just the first thing that came to my mind.
Yeah. There are other stories. Do you think have any other story? It's like something is improperly, totally lost its context, lost propriety, shows disrespect to things.
For some
And
reason,
somebody else is more upset about it.
I don't know why, but the sacrifice that King Saul made, regardless of what the Lord had
There
said,
you go. Another
that
case.
really upset him.
Yeah, another case.
And
Yeah.
then Samuel went on to say that it is not the
It's
blood
not
of
proper,
goats,
yeah.
bulls, and goats that I
Yeah.
desire, but the heart.
That's good
Yeah.
one. Good example. Elijah, do you have one?
Maybe when Cain only sacrificed.
Oh yeah,
vegetables
king
instead
sacrificed
of the animal.
fruit. I mean, harvest. From the
Yeah.
field. Yeah, in a sense. Yeah. I don't think that way is necessarily appropriate. So there's no stipulation that's not right or wrong in God's beginning. But there are things that it definitely is God forbid to be misused or abused, and someone did it, right? So remember that the king read the story about the prophet Isaiah. Remember what happened to Isaiah? Isaiah, he grew up with Uzziah, the king Uzziah.
Mhm.
Go to the temple, try to do sacrifices, which
Oh,
is
that's right.
yeah. What is that story is, Elijah? Remember that
I don't
story?
know. I don't know what you're talking about.
Go ahead. Then.
I don't know if I'm mixing a story or not, but I believe that he did something that was supposed to be done by the Levite priests, but
Yes.
he thought that he, as his authority as king, that he had the right to do it regardless of what God had said.
So he offered sacrifice. Yeah. Like
so
high
even though he
priest.
was offering sacrifices to the Lord, he was judged.
He was struck by
Leprosy.
Leprosy. That's terrible. So the other, I think, very good example would be Jesus Christ himself. He was so upset.
Oh, when he came in the market.
Yeah, exactly. When people change the stuff in the temple into totally after purposes, right? He was upset. He was totally upset. So here Confucius said, we're upset we see things happening, So that's what it is. It's more about upset. The other example is actually Moses with Pinchas. You know Pinchas who is?
Mm-mm.
Okay. Well, carry that question your day and ask him, okay?
What's the name? How do you spell it?
Pinchas. 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 There's many Pinchas in the Bible. But the one I'm talking about is with Moses. It's actually the third song or the first song for Aaron, I guess. So he got the
pronounced that way, or
priesthood.
is it Phineas?
Okay, I'm not sure. I
It's
always
PH,
see.
so I think it might be Phineas.
Oh, Phineas
I don't know.
then. Listen to
I
Noah.
actually am not completely sure
Okay. Listen to Noah. Anyway, is this making sense to you guys? Yeah, this one.
Hey.
Wow. What you guys doing, huh? Try to scare